What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the full set release for the Mega Tin 2022. This comes out on September 15th, so it's not that far off. Definitely looking forward to getting some of these tins to open up, at least a couple for the channel. And I made a video yesterday talking about some of these early releases, edited the video, posted it, and then after like 2 hours, the full spoiler came out. I felt like it wasn't worth it to take that video down, and I figured I'd just make another one today, and we could touch on pretty much everything in a bit more of a just kind of recap. But these tins are pretty good. There has been a bit of controversy, as there always is, within the community for these, but I think they are really, really solid as a whole, and I'm going to tell you why. With that being said, let's jump into the video. Alright, thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and if you are here and have not yet done so, please hit the like button and subscribe. Click the bell icon to stay notified if you want to stay up to date with new videos. I do try to cover news as it releases, among other videos with, non-Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Related things. But that is not why you're here. You're here for Mega Tin 2022, so let's get to it. Now, one of the things I do want to note is that last year's Mega Tins were pretty hype as well, and they did end up doing relatively poorly after a while in terms of the single values within the sets. The tins themselves are actually still available on some shelves around like $15, $16, so they're not super hard to find. I know there was a mass quantity of them, and I do think at some point you will see them go the way of the 2020 and 2019 tins. But what those tins had that these don't, 2019 had promos and 2020 had Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, as well as coming out during the pandemic where they were a little bit harder to get and pretty much other factors associated with it. These tins look really, really good for numerous reasons. Now, I'm going to address the criticisms first. One of the biggest criticisms that I've seen along people on the internet is they're upset about the amount of good cards that were put into Prismatic Secret Rare. That and the fact that some of them are still Secret Rare and were originally Secret Rare. Now, I know the argument is that these are Prismatic, so they are technically a different rarity. Konami has always advertised that they'd be attainable in a different rarity than they were in their core sets. It's kind of a weaselly approach, but it's technically not wrong, so I won't harp on it too much. Now, of course, the biggest thing is within each Mega Pack in the tin, you get one Secret Rare, meaning you're getting 3 Secret Rares per tin, and if all the good cards are in Secret, it's going to be a lot harder to pull them. But I'd like to point out one of two things. From a singles perspective, it's going to make a lot of these cards much cheaper. Cards like Ash Blossom will probably end up staying relatively high, but should hopefully drive down the other ones. And it is coming out in the Crystal Beast Structure deck, so there is a double dip reprint of Ash on the horizon. You should be able to get these pretty easily if it is something you want. I would definitely recommend, if you're interested in picking up Ash Blossoms, to do so sooner rather than later once these products drop, because they are going to go back up. We have seen historically every copy of Ash does end up going back. The common was, 10, and then it went to 12, and then it went to 30. And then we saw the maximum gold was like 6 or 7 on release, and it went to 17, and then 20, and then back up to 30. So, buying in low on Ash is definitely the way to go if you do not have any. But that's just something I wanted to note. And you do have the other Ghost Girls in here in Prismatic Secret as well, with Ogre and Haunted Belle. I do think both of them look really nice in Prismatic Secret, and I will probably try to pick up a set of each just to have a matching playset. But those are not really going to be, Ghost Belle and Ghost Ogre are not going to be the big chase cards here within these tins. So just going through it left to right pretty quick, we've got the DM era artworks, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, and Dark Magician Girl. I really like the artworks on all of these. I think they look really cool. They just have a unique approach to them, and they were in the History Archive in the OCG, which I guess kind of confirms we're not going to be getting that product, but that's not super surprising. I thought maybe, if anything, they'd throw some of it into Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge, which they might do, but I'm not really sure yet whether or not that's going to be the case. So we've got an Aluber reprint, which is great. Aluber's really cheap from Ghost from the Past 2's reprint, so if you don't have one already and you want to get one in a Prismatic Secret, this should probably be very affordable, but definitely a nice option for people that maybe weren't fans of the Ultra. Dramaturge actually gets a rarity bump up to the Secret Rare, which is cool. I don't think it's going to be crazy expensive, but it's a nice little pickup for Despia players or people that want to have that full package. We touched on the Ghost Girls already, so definitely, not bad to have in here. They're always going to add value to a product, at least, in terms of being a decent pull that you'll have use for. Zexal Ascended Sage is actually a decent card that just has never really hit its full potential yet, in my opinion, but a Secret Rare upgrade is nice, and I think if you are going to make Secret Rare upgrades, those should be the type of cards that are getting it. Cards that aren't really worth a ton, but have some playability potential, and you want to give them that rarity bump. Incredible Ecclesia, I'm not shocked this is a Prismatic Secret. I actually felt like this could have been one that they made Ultra, similar to you know, how the original Dogmatica Ecclesia was Ultra in its core setting got bumped to Secret. But, you know, whatever. Armed Dragon Thunder, this one, again, is fine, I guess. It's not really worth anything in its regular form, so this is kind of, you know, unnecessary. But you will have those sort of filler secrets in here, especially, we saw it in last year's with the Sacred Beasts, we saw it in the year before. There are going to be filler secrets, so I guess you could do worse than Armed Dragon, which at least has collectible value. We've got Tri-Brigade Kit, which is a nice upgrade. Diviner of the Herald desperately needed a reprint, one of the bigger cards from Lightning Overdrive. Nice to see that. That should hopefully drop a lot. Rockstrow's Dragon gets an upgrade, and Lord of the Heavenly Prison just, you know, kind of stays the same. Not a bad card, though. That one should hopefully go down in price as it's more accessible, and it's one of those cards people have really liked and talked about, but it hasn't done a ton at the top levels yet, but, you know, has plenty of potential to get there. Albion gets an upgrade. Coritis gets an upgrade, which is pretty solid. Destroy Phoenix Enforcer gets a reprint, which is nice. You've seen the original Secret Rare start to go down now, between the Starlight being what people are chasing after and this. Hopefully it'll actually be like a $10 card at most. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon getting another reprint in here as a Secret Rare upgrade. I'm pretty happy about that. We knew this was going to be in here. I do think it's going to look nice. Whether or not it'll hold any significant value is interesting because, you know, the Megatin one was so expensive because it was only available in there. And then they reprinted it in Starlight, but the card doesn't see much play anymore with Verte banned, so I'm not really sure what to expect pricing-wise on that. Drytron Mubeta Fafnir is a decent card. I think that could have very easily been an Ultra as well, just to spread it out a little. Ruddy Rose Dragon, again, not super pricey. Would have been a nice choice for an Ultra, but Prismatic Secret should look good on it. Underworld Goddess, we talked about yesterday, needing a reprint for sure, so happy about that. Evil Twin Trouble Sunny, that was an Ultra, so that got bumped up to a Secret, so that's not bad. Rainbow Bridge to Salvation is a really good card for Crystal Beast, which I know is sort of like, you know, being the shiniest turd in the punch bowl, but it's definitely cool to see this getting an actual release. I thought they were going to put it in Crystal Revenge, but it looks like they're just giving it to us here. And as a Secret Rare, that should be super cheap, but it is a really, really good card for the deck that can search out a field spell and a Crystal Beast card, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Small World is another one. Good reprint, pretty happy about that. People really like that card. It's seen some niche use, and it has potential, you know, with every set because it can search so many things. Link into the Vrains, I actually don't know what that card does off the top of my head, but that's another card from the History Archive. Crossout Designator was a surprise reprint and rarity bump. We should hopefully see this be pretty affordable now, especially because the Ultras have dropped down to like 10-ish with this reprint. The card is good, it's just, you know, it's been more sided, it's not mained, you know, in most decks like it is in the OCG because of Max C, and it actually got hit recently in the OCG as well, I believe, so it does sort of, you know, bode well, I suppose, in terms of, you know, differencing in formats. This card should, you know, they haven't done anything with it yet. I don't really see any reason to think that they would right off the bat, but we'll have to see. Fluanderies in the Magnificent Map is a really nice upgrade for Flunder. That's a Secret Rare, and I think a few of the other Flunders actually got super rare upgrades as well, so nice to see that. Dual Tower from History Archive. It's cool for, like, nostalgia purposes. Again, just another filler secret. Greater Polymerization, decent, nothing crazy. Cool card, gets a bump. It's not the worst thing ever. Ready Fusion is a card I like. I definitely think it does have more potential than it's seen up to this point, but it wasn't super expensive as a secret, so I don't think it's going to be super expensive as a reprinted secret. Again, another card that might have been nice as an Ultra just to diversify things a little. Branded Opening as a Secret Rare is a nice bump for sure. And then, of course, we've got the big hitters here. We've got Droplet, Lightning Storm, and Prosperity. All insanely good reprints, without a doubt, but they are all secret, and of course that means they're all going to be challenging to get. I do think out of the three, Lightning Storm's the most likely to be affordable-ish. It'll probably be in the $20 range, simply because the King's Court one is down to around $25-$30, and if these are widely open and the card is easily accessible, we could definitely see Lightning Storm be one that you could get your hands on. Prosperity is a massive reprint. People weren't sure whether or not they were going to put it in here or not. I'm definitely happy to see that they did. They didn't cheap out, and maybe we even do get a double dip reprint of it in Battles of Legend or something, because I do think Prosperity will still end up being quite pricey. I would expect probably somewhere in the $40-$50 range for this card when all is said and done, although that would defy some of the expectations of tins in terms of reprints being valuable. We'll see. I think a lot of cards in here have now become affordable from a meta perspective, and that's good for everyone, even if it is a little bit lopsided on the secret side of things. Now, looking at Ultras quickly, there are a lot of them, and I am not going to go through every single one because a lot of them are definitely filler, and I see where people's criticisms come in because most of these Ultras are pretty lackluster. Scrap Raptor getting an upgrade is pretty cool. Miradora is like an okay reprint. The card's not very good, but I guess it does have a slight bit of potential, so maybe something to keep in mind for down the line. It'll probably be pennies on the dollar, so picking a couple up's not the end of the world. The Stardust Synchron getting a reprint as an Ultra is pretty cool. Synchro Overtake, sorry. It's another one that's decent as well, was a secret rare. None of those were crazy pricey, but like those are the types of cards that are decent to see get reprinted here. Of course, Nibiru, Dark Ruler No More, and Dimension Shifter, the original promos from the 2019 tin, all in here. That's great. That's going to boost value. But there is a lot of filler ultras in here. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't. And unfortunately, I do think most of them are going to end up being pretty cheap. So what we're going to see here is whether or not the the new cards. We obviously have the Egyptian God support here that are exclusive to this tin. We talked about the Revived Sky God yesterday. Maybe we'll touch on the other two in a video down the road later this week. I don't think either of them are anywhere near as good as the Slifer one, but people might be, feeling differently about it. And, of course, we've got the Energy Max, but that one is an Obelisk Trap, which inherently means it's going to be relatively slow. But we'll talk about the new Divine Beast cards at a later date, I think. Just looking at the contents of the tin, though, and obviously the supers are okay. I don't have the super graphics pulled up, but I will say they do make a lot of the Flunder stuff more accessible, as if it wasn't already, and then we do get the other Ghost Girls in super. Gunkin Sue Ship gets a super rare bump, so, the supers are decent. I'd go out on a limb and say if it wasn't for the bottom row of ultras here, the supers would probably be better than the ultras, but that's usually par for the course. I think what people are really going to benefit from this product is that the reprints for the big end cards are going to drive their prices down. These are going to be widely open, and you will be able to pick up a lot of cards cheaper. We've seen it happen every year without fail with these Megatins. We saw it happen with the Danger stuff. We saw it happen with Tri-Brigade. Even if it does go back up over time, it's definitely going to be affordable for a while, and that's the opportunity to slide in and grab those cards, especially if it's something that you want. So we are definitely getting a pretty good product this year. I think these tins may be better at holding some value, specifically because of the DM era stuff from the History Archive, and just a general assortment of really good cards. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Do you think these tins are going to be good? I think the Ghost Girls plus the other staples and stuff are definitely going to do good for these long term. But cracking them open, there's not too many secrets you could hit that are quite up, quote unquote terrible to hit, while there are a small handful. So I like them. Definitely optimistic about them. Don't overpay on these. Don't buy into crazy hype. You'll be able to find these pretty easily once they come out. We saw that last year. You can literally still find these tins on shelves, the 2021 tins. So don't go crazy pre-ordering, overpaying. If you get a good deal, get a good deal. But don't pay too much over MSRP on these, because I think you'll be able to find them pretty easily once they come out. Tins are usually widely opened, and if you get these at retail, it's a pretty good value, but if you get them at marked up prices, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. So let me know what you guys think of that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. This video is brought to you by yourplaymat.com. Create your own custom playmats, card sleeves, and more by visiting yourplaymat.com today using the affiliate link in the description below. Use my code LS10YP and save 10% off your purchase while supporting the channel directly. Thanks again to yourplaymat.com for sponsoring this video.